Hello everyone, this is Failurefox. I wanted to actually finally get what I wanted to do done. That doesn't really sound right, but essentially I've been putting off doing a little art show thing for all of you guys. Over the last term, I took a beginning drawing class. So actually with another fellow YouTuber, Silverlightsaber, who does some really freaking cool trailers and stuff. Check it out. It's freaking studio quality. Anyhow, I don't have any of his artwork, so you'd have to ask him if you wanted to show any of that off. But speaking of which, you still have yet to show me that your extra work, Robert. There, you looking at you, right there, not there. You're someone else. You. So, as I said, I'm gonna go ahead and essentially show off a little bit, I know how to talk, don't I? I'm going to go ahead and show off each of the drawings that I've done. Yes, I had to make sure that I had them all done. Unfortunately, the quality is not perfect, because all I had was a digital camera, and my room here, which is not really very big or conducive to making high quality pictures in proper quality and color. Luckily they're all black and white, but the first several pictures I took before I somehow changed the coloring on my camera were yellow. These are all correct because I somehow messed with the setting and I got what I needed. Technology, how did that work? So so let's get on with this before I completely screw myself over by talking about nothing. Alright, let's go.
The first thing I would say we officially did was this picture. She essentially set up a little scene and told us, draw this. So we drew it. Now, I don't remember if we did this with our... You know what? We probably did this with our left hand. I'll have to check the original picture. Because... I can't see what it says on the top left there. Or the top left. That's totally the top right. Yeah, that's correct. For a split second, I thought I had all the pictures backwards, which would have not been very pleasurable for me. Line drawing. Nope, this is just plain line drawing. So I suck normally. But to everyone's defense, a lot of people were not used to drawing, and so, yeah, this was actually relatively good. You can sort of tell what the heck is going on, at least. That's the important part. Alright, number 2. This, thanks, Cat, for stepping on my, headphones. What was this? This was one of the first things we did. Other than this, we had an actual structured idea. We learned how to do bottles. And then we basically started doing stuff with bottles. Because bottles are very complicated. You may not realize it, but they really can be complicated. Especially when you're being taught them. You can see that I have a lot of this, especially the bottle is not off-center, but off-kilter. It's not equal on either side or anything. It's just a little wonky. Also, the top of the little jar on the left, you cannot distinguish it from the background. That was a mistake on my part. Also, it's way too tall. The lip is too tall from the edge. But I like my egg. Number 3, the first homework assignment. This one's a little blurrier, a little bit more blurry than the other images because I guess I didn't take a good enough picture. It's hard when you have a digital camera and you're taking pictures of things that... It's just hard. Whatever. With this, I had originally decided to do something I actually drew later on, but after sitting down and looking at it for about 5 minutes, I realized, this is way too complicated. Screw this, I'm drawing a box. So I tried drawing a box. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as good as it could have been. I did do a decent job, but I will admit that it is a little bit disappointing when you compare it to a lot of the stuff that we've done before and after this point. But, you know, whatever. Stuff happens. Number 4. This was our first introduction to doing thumbnails. As you can see on the very bottom, there's some scribblies of another image. That's really the whole scene. Now, yeah, that's right. This is the right one. I had really hurried this little thumbnail on because she told us don't spend much time on it. So I took literally 5 minutes to do my thumbnail, and then I started on the actual scene. Then I look around, then I hear she says, "Okay, 5 more minutes on your thumbnail." After I was 10 minutes into my real drawing, and I went, "Oh, crap." So, yeah, you're supposed to put a lot of work in your thumbnail. I didn't really realize this at the time. I actually understand why now. It makes sense, because if you don't have it at least correct dimensions in your thumbnail, your image that you make off of that becomes really, really different than what you wanted. You never copy your thumbnail onto your picture. That is just stupid. But you start with something on your thumbnail and build your box or your dimension or the edge of their page around where you box it out. As you can see, there's a little box in there. That's basically where my little image is. Now, this also looks a little odd. The square is a lot more square than it looks. The image square, the border. It's just the picture is at a slant by chance when I took this picture. Unfortunately, I'm rather proud of that one. It's not bad. All right, the next image. This one was basically our first introduction into charcoal. This was a gesture sketch. This is, if you don't know what a gesture drawing is, sketch drawing, close enough. You essentially just wildly, it's whenever you see like an artist or something just kind of like their hands going crazy, like all over the page. That's basically a gesture sketch. You're just constantly moving and constantly just getting little shapes and ideas and parts and pieces. Actually, I think this was supposed to go before the previous one, now that I think about it. Or did we do 2? I'm not sure. Remember. No, I think we did this afterwards. I don't remember. Whatever the case, these were both done in the same day. It's confusing. It would help if I actually dated my stuff before a certain point. Before halfway through the term. Anyway, you gesture sketch, you continuously move around, you keep drawing, you just get the shapes out, then you start defining. You don't want to stop. It's actually a ton of fun. And it's really neat because you just start out with circles, and then eventually you just bring definition out of it. And you get like this. Originally, a lot of this were just scribbly circles and stuff. And it turned into this. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Alright, the next image. This is one that I remember. I'm pretty sure there is a thumbnail for this. I don't know offhand, but this is one point where I really understood that my angles were terrible. The box, you can tell that everything's on, does not look natural. Not only because on the bottom left, I screwed up on a line 3 times, but the back, it looks really odd and out of place, and that's because I fell into an old trap that a lot of new drawers fall into. That is to just go with let your hand do what it thinks it was supposed to be. Because when you draw a box, it's just offhand, draw a box right now. Oh wait, 3D box. Alright, generally you're going to draw it in the exact same proportions and exact same look and design that you did just now. Every time, because that's what you're used to doing, unless you actually are an artist or have drawn a lot. It's really quite kind of annoying, actually. Alright, here is the second homework assignment. Now, unfortunately, I wanted to do a lot more with this image. As you can see the thumbnail on the right there, I actually used one of my bokeh and I was going to draw that, but it does not come out. It just looks like this weird effect in the background right there in the actual image. And it is really disappointing. Though that is my coffee cup, it's right here next to me. The other side actually has a picture of a wood duck on it. That's why I turned it around. I tried very hard to make it so no one would I would never have to draw that, though I realized later on no one would know. Anyhow, I did try and do a few fancy things with this. Like, I tried to overhang on the left and shade under it. You can't really tell very much because of the picture. It degrades it a lot. But I worked really hard on the handle and the shadows. I could have made it a lot more gradual shading, and the top of the cup, the lip looks really just like it ends, and it shouldn't. There should be a little bit of a curve on there to make it look more realistic and more like a real cup. Oh well. Ah, this one. One of our first forays into organic shapes, which is, well, right there, the gourd. Organic shapes is a little bit of a wrapper term that kind of goes across anything that was made naturally and doesn't have any structure to it. Like a gourd, it doesn't really have any structure to it. You can invent structure around it and then draw it, which essentially what we did most of the time is we built a box around it, and then, or a box, and then figured out where the pieces of the gourd would land in the box, and then drew it that way. And that works pretty well. Personally, I tend to just freehand a lot of circular shapes, and 50-50, 60-45, it comes out really nice. 60-45? 55-45, it comes out relatively well. But it is not a bad idea to have the structure down, because if I hadn't actually done it with the structured way, this picture would look like crap. It is actually a decent looking picture in my opinion. In fact, let's go ahead and look at a closer version of it. There we go. A closer version right here. A little bit blurry, but there, you kind of see exactly what it was supposed to look like, how I was going for it, blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. I like, after looking at this picture again, I do kind of like it. I like the box in the background especially. The fairy background. Getting the shades behind it and everything was a little bit difficult. The gourd, it's decent. It's not the worst I've ever done. Best I've ever done. So it's okay. Oh, next. I don't remember. Was this our beginning of, yeah, this is the first time we were messing with transparency and distortion. This was not a very well done one by me. I will say that right now. We also experimented with weird-shaped canvas size. Canvas size, yeah, that's a word. I invented it. It is now a word. Canvases. The weird-shaped canvases were kind of neat, and actually someone used this kind of idea, the really tall canvas, for their final, and it turned out really neat. Though I could talk about it, but I don't have a picture of that, and I don't really have the right to critique them after the fact now, so we'll just leave that as it is. Hopefully you can see exactly that it's supposed to be a clear bottle, but I won't make fun of you if you can't figure out the scene. We spent a lot of time really working on transparencies and distortion. And that is good because it was difficult to get transparency down. This image, we start out with thumbnail, as you might guess, and I think I omitted a piece of the picture actually. A stick that was falling down from the top left. I don't see it. Oh no, never mind. It's going behind the gourd. This was actually pretty interesting. You can see I actually cut something off from the top. There's a cattail or something or a thistle, and I did not want to draw that at all. Robert actually drew that in a different picture, and that was impressive. I applaud you. Next is a little bit closer up, in case you want to see better of it. Again, we kind of have a border inside. That eventually we'll stop doing that. Actually, one of the next pictures, you'll see that I'm not using a border on the inside of the page. But we'll get there in a second. This here is a gesture sketch that eventually became my midterm. I believe. No, this was a gesture sketch for what we just did. I feel silly. I did have these in the right order. That's interesting. I thought I had a gesture sketch for my midterm, but seems to be gone. Now, originally when I did this gesture sketch, I wanted to focus somewhere else, and I ended up down where I was. What are you gonna do, man? And this is my midterm. It was pretty hard. We spent, what was it? 2.25 actual class time on this, and I came in for an extra class time during an open period to work on this as well. Now, I have to say, this looks a hell of a lot better scanned than it does actually on the paper, which is really funny, because a lot of this stuff looked terrible on in scan when it wasn't on paper, or as opposed to the paper. But when pictured, this isn't scanned, I feel silly now. When I took the picture of this, it polarized a lot of the lights and darks, which is really what I needed to do to make this a good picture. So imagine this a little bit more, everything the same same value, and you've got it. It's obvious though that there's a few things like on the middle right that just seem awkward, like how the shadows are. There's a cloth background that I was really trying hard to get, but I failed so hard. I still have trouble with cloth. It just doesn't make sense to me. I have a really good time with geometric shapes generally, and really that's where I've gotten compliments on geometric shapes with my work, which is a little bit embarrassing actually. All right, this one. This is our first foray into really using charcoal for learning experience and really understanding it, and also figure drawing. I was so scared going into figure drawing because it is something I am notoriously bad at. I cannot do figures very well, especially something since we did a couple of let's just have fun and draw people thing earlier, and no one looked like a person before that. Of course, it doesn't help when we're doing that blind and left-handed. That's another story. Let's see then. This charcoal is a very interesting material medium to draw with, because essentially you just darken the whole page and use your eraser to draw the rest of it, using some darkening and everything. I did a very decent job on the eye, but I had to get help from our teacher on the lips, so the lips look a lot better than they should, even though they're scanned in or drawn. Oh, the answer is pictured. The eye I'm decently proud of, though, and you can actually see exactly what it's supposed to look like, really, in that picture, which is a huge accomplishment for me. So I'll thank you very much for being kind and just saying it's good. Now, here is another day we did another part of figures, feet. This was really, I'm really proud of this foot. There are some other people did way better job than me, but I like this foot a lot. Hello, watch. I like this foot. I want to dwell on this, but I'm not going to. But yeah, once you get the hang of just looking at the value differences in charcoal drawing and looking at things, it's really easy to do. That's why I like it. I like easy things. I'm lazy. Alright, now this we had to do actual people. One of the other students would sit there and they would be drawn. And this does look like a person, but it doesn't really look like her. Or him. I don't remember. No, that was her. There's a him later on. Yeah, that's right. And now for basically what I'm one of my most proud, at least at the time, charcoal drawings. David. This is, what was it? Michelangelo and Leonardo. I don't remember the artist, but you'd know. You'd recognize. Probably not from my image, but it does look decent. I'm happy with it. The neck looks like crap because I didn't really think about that. I was just working on the face and the head and the hair. Because of how the hair is chiseled there, it is impossible to draw with any accuracy unless you want to spend hours on it. So Makoto, our teacher, just decided, or just told us, just make it dark and then lighten things up, lighten little dashes in it, and then line those dashes. All in all, the hair should actually be a little taller, maybe a little shorter on the sides. I don't remember anymore. Now here we have another one that another time we had to draw other people, another student, and this barely looks like the guy it was supposed to be. I am not proud of that. Moving on. Here we actually have another student, and I did a decent job on her, though she looks very, very intimidating. It's a little scary. I'm a lot happier with this than any of the other figure drawings we did of the actual, other students, though. Still not very happy with it, but, it's better than most. Here, I don't remember if this was Hermes or what, but it is another, obviously it's another sculpture. And I did okay on it. I'm pretty sure that I ended up getting help on it, though I didn't really want it. No, I'm pretty sure this one's Hermes. I'm not very happy with this. It's alright, but I have a tendency to get stuck in certain spots, and I will stay there and mess with it forever and ever, which is not what you want to do. You do not want to do that. Anytime. If you're stuck on something, move on. Move on somewhere else. Either it'll start filling in what you skipped, or you'll be able to come back to it with a fresh mind, a fresh eye, and look at it. Also, something you need to do whenever you draw anything is periodically step up, walk away, go get a cookie or something, come back, look at it, eat your cookie, take a drink of water, then look at it again, and then go back to it. Because you will see things completely differently if you completely leave the image. You leave the image, you leave your model, everything. You just go away. Everything will look different. You'll be able to see, oh, this is supposed to go like this, and it'll look a lot better. Alright, now this one. At this point, I was pretty well worn out. I had basically quit. Quit school at this point. I just did, not school in general, but this term. This happens to me a lot of times when my classes get really tough at the end of the term. I get really discouraged and irritated, and I just don't want to do anything anymore. It's not a good thing to do, but it's something that happens. I am a little happy with how the figure on the bottom did, but we were supposed to get some of the figure on the top, and I had such a hard time because I could not get the value. I could not concentrate on it. I couldn't concentrate on it. My eyes were bugging out on me. I was having trouble doing anything here. It was really, really hard for me. I don't know why. But unfortunately, that was the last thing that we did in class. The rest of it, we had our final. And let's see. I decided on the from my first homework, I decided to try and do what I wanted to do then. This figure. This is the RX, what was it? The RX-08A mobile suit. I'll have to look it up to make absolutely sure. But it is essentially the Xeon Mobile Suit Goof. If you are at all familiar with the original Gundam series, you'll know that this exists in it, at least. It was only around for a few episodes, unfortunately. And I could talk for hours on this thing. I love the Goof. It was originally supposed to replace the Xeon's basic basic infantry mobile suit, the Zaku, though eventually the Dom I actually ended up replacing it, which is stupid dumb. Looks ugly. But the goof was essentially outfitted with, let's see, hand cannon on the left, mounted in the left hand. It's actually in the left hand, not like this. Let's see, an electrified kind of whip in the right hand. Also, it could use a heat saber. It was pretty bitchin'. It also comes with a shield. You can see at the feet on this sketch. This is my thumbnail. This is almost done. This is about a quarter of a full sheet of drawing paper. I decided I needed to do this, and I mapped out exactly what I wanted to do. And it was very difficult to really get what I wanted on this. And this took an entire day. And I am really upset about myself to do this, that it took this long. But I am very happy with how the end, or happy enough, how the end of result came about. Yes, this is my final image. I have a lot of qualms with it. For instance, the left hand there is really awkward. The right arm looks a little weird too, because the hand should be a little larger. I have a feeling when I took a picture of this, it really distorted it. But, yeah. Another thing, the little spotlight symbol in the top left, which is the Xeon symbol, I left that as just white, and it really draws away from the subject matter. I also, as you can see, a lot of the shading needs to be darker on the goof itself, because it looks too white when you have a black background. Other than that, I originally was, as you could see on my thumbnail here, I'm going to put back up, I originally had the picture cut off at the knees, but somehow I did some estimating wrong, and also I really messed up on some of the proportions. The upper half of the leg should be taller. The chest area is really screwed up. You wouldn't know it, but because it looks fine, but it's really messed up. But I like it. This was an extreme challenge to me, and I never would have thought I'd ever be able to do something like this, and I was able to do it. I am not super happy with it, but I am freaking proud of this. And I will stay proud of it probably forever. In fact, if I had wall space, it'd be on my wall right now.
So that's my little art show. I hope you enjoyed it, and now you know I'm not a fantastic artist. I'm okay. But, taking this class was very awkward for me at first, because I did not expect it to be as high a level as it really turned out to be. See, at first I thought it was going to be like basic shapes, like here's how you draw a square, yay, yay! No. We jumped head first into this shit. And it's a really good thing we did, because that really meant that you learned. And you learned some advanced stuff, so you could actually feel like you did something good. It's a huge kind of a culture shock, though, if you're expecting something that's a little simple and like, you know, let's do this one step at a time, because we're basically, here's something, do your best, and do it. For me, not really knowing how to do something really, really, really freaks me out, which is kind of one reason why I don't do Let's Plays that I don't know, other than the fact that I can't think of any games I haven't played that I'd like to play. I'm willing to do that, but it's not something I'm often willing to do, or wanting to do, on my own free will. Again, I'm willing to do it. If anyone has a suggestion, throw it at me. Anything I can do in an emulator, I'm generally game. So, if something on SNES or Sega Genesis, probably go ahead and shoot it to me and I'll see about it. If it's something I know is a piece of crap, or I know I won't like, I won't do it. But that's that's something else, sort of, ish, maybe. My eyebrows are gone. So, yeah. So I dealt with a lot of stress during this class, which really wasn't meant to be there. This class was meant to be have fun, and learn something. And in fact, that is probably the biggest thing about drawing, is you need to have fun. You need to enjoy drawing, otherwise it will come out like crap every time. You need to take your time, you need to enjoy it, you need to do something you want to do, just do it. Have fun with it. Even if it's something you don't really want to do, screw it up on purpose and see what it looks like, then do it right, or, just do whatever. You just have to have fun and do it. That's something I really need to do, is start drawing more often, because actually after the term ended I haven't drawn a single thing, which is really sad. All this work I just did, and I haven't drawn anything after that. I did some append work on that, my final, but it's not as good as it didn't really change much of it. What I'd really like to do is, I need to draw. I mean, it's not like I don't have ideas on things I want to draw. I have plenty of ideas, I just don't want to draw. I don't know. It's probably because I'm playing Minecraft or Final Fantasy XI, or doing my Let's Plays, or working on holiday stuff, or doing shopping, or getting freaked out about next term because I don't have any money, or blah 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 blah. Maybe. But generally that's not a big thing. It's just because I don't give myself time. I still want to draw like some sort of like title bar for me or something. That would be fun. Yeah. It's really, the biggest annoyance is I know 2 people that are really good artists. Well, actually 3 now. That they do draw. They don't draw often, but they do draw. And it really annoys me because I'm like, I could do that too! Especially now that I've got this kind of quality. If you look back at my final, it was decent quality. And if I just have fun with it, because that I did have fun with it, but I finished it at about 3 a.m. on Sunday night, and I had to turn in on Monday. And I had to get up at 6. So it was not really a great time for it. I get the feeling that if I had spent more time, had been able to bring it in and say, what can I do to mess with this and make it more better, because we had 3 weeks to do this, and I did it in the last week. At least I didn't do it on the last day. Oh, I'd be screwed. I did feel the pressure, though. Yeah, if I draw something for fun, I'll probably have more fun with it. Yeah. For now, I'm going to go ahead and record something else, though, because, yeah. In fact, you'll know about it already, because I did something wrong. So, whatever the case, hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, sorry. If you did, go ahead and comment if you want to. If you don't want to, and have a good day. That's all I can do. So, I'll see you guys later.